Hi guys, I'm Martikor and I'm happy to finally announce that Townieville is finished. It's done. I kind of abandoned this little project for a few months. I couldn't find the willpower to create all the memories that I needed to create, and that really blocked me. But recently, I took like 4 days off and I just finished it during that time. So this is the cover photo. I think the Scarborough family make a pretty good cover photo. Like I chose Mary Lena and Goopy to be kind of like the faces of Townieville. So it isn't really that much story-wise, as I said in my previous video about that, about 6 months ago. This was never supposed to be an ambitious project. Just at some point I started thinking, well, basically that Brandy Letourneau could easily be Alvin Fiura's mother when it comes to like genetics, face features, and everything, and that gave me an idea to actually try and merge the base game townies into families. So all they have in the memories are just basic ones like their children being born and stuff like that. And like first kisses and all that crap. So the story mode is just that. It's just the main picture and a tiny description. Well-known Sims have been merged into whole or less whole families. What are their stories? That's it. So I will read you all the descriptions of the families. Sims don't have their private bios. I mean, they kind of do, but all you can see there are their full names. And that is because if you play Townieville in a non-English game, like if your game is in Polish, for example, as it would be the case for a lot of my viewers probably, then the Sims will just keep their original names in your translation. They are pre-made Sims. I didn't recreate them from scratch. I just brought them in. Like they were townies originally and I just brought them in the town. They are in their original form, the original character files. So the game will just translate them for you. Unfortunately, it would take forever for me to rename the Sims in every single language of the game. So I put their full names in their bios so that if you want to rename them, at least maybe I made it a little bit easier for you. One of my viewers who plays in Portuguese suggested that idea. Also, here are pictures of how that looks in Portuguese. So like you have, for example, on the screenshots there's the Cox family that all of them have separate names because originally those townies have separate names. I just merged them into whole families, so I rename them to match the family. So like Orlando Bertino was renamed to Orlando Cox, but if you play in Polish, Portuguese, German, whatever, he will still be or whatever Orlando Bertino is in your language. So sorry for that inconvenience, but there isn't really that much I can do about it. I tried to make it just a tiny bit easier for you. You can rename the Sims during the last name copier mod or just in SimPE, but I guess for the majority of people it will be fine because a lot of people just play in English. I am thinking of making a Polish version since I remember most of the Polish names of those townies, so it wouldn't really be that big of a deal, and I would also translate the descriptions of the families, but that is if I actually feel like doing that, because it was just supposed to be like an idea that I would quickly do, and yeah, but I just started thinking that okay, it will be cool to share it with people. So it became a thing, and you know how it is. So the Kapoor family on 18 Bertino Street. Ivy is very ambitious. At a relatively young age, she's already a well-established educator and has her own house that she partially rents to Abhijit, who is an exact opposite of her. I checked, and actually this name is pronounced Abhijit. It's just that simple. I kind of feel like they both, like Ivy Kapoor is definitely of Hindu, Indian, like from India descent. And I feel like Abhijit could be of the same descent. So it's kind of interesting that they may actually like have a similar heritage. And they also live together, like they are roommates. So yeah, that's cool. That's a coincidence, a total coincidence, but I kind of like that. So like if they are of Indian descent but in America, let's say, I'm assuming that this is the United States. So you would think that maybe they are kind of like-minded, but it turns out not really, because he's a romance sim, she's a knowledge sim. And they might not really get along that well. And they may have very different priorities and goals in life. The Cox family on 15 Thayer Avenue. Kennedy and Melissa are a great couple that provides well for their children. Only sometimes some members of the Cox family sit and wonder for a minute how it's possible for Chandler to have red hair. So yeah, I mentioned in the previous video that Chandler doesn't exactly match his parents because he's a redhead with green eyes, and I said that it would be explained in the family tree, but it's not anymore. I changed that, and it's actually explained in Melissa's memories mostly, and in her contacts probably. And the Cox family has a dog now. This is Otis from the adoption pool. I mean, I recreated that dog. The adoption pool looks completely different here. I didn't want you to have all these repetitive pets, like all the same pets all the freaking time. So the one thing that is not vanilla at all are the strays and the pets for adoption. These are generated completely new, but to like bring this nostalgic vanilla taste, I brought Otis to this family, and also Heidi the cat, also the one that you can adopt in the original adoption pool, to another family. Tellerman on 12 Bertino Street. Jan doesn't know yet if she's going to be a serial romancer or if she's... Oh no, there's a typo! No! No! Or if she's looking for a soulmate. I have to replace the file on Mediafire and on Mod The Sims anyway, so that's fine. The most important thing is that she's looking. Another Tellerman family on 8 Bertino Street. Jan is Comey's sister. They shared a last name, and also they have the same eye color, so I figured, yeah, okay, they can be siblings. Comey really loves his family, but he hasn't been feeling very happy lately. Work isn't as satisfying as before, the house is too small. Can the family figure it out, especially with special news just around the corner? There is already a crib in their house. But yeah, Christy is pregnant at the beginning. Gil Scarborough. Goopy did the right thing by Mary Lena, despite them still being very young when she got pregnant. He can't stop the intrusive thoughts of missing out on something, though. The worst thing is Ivy is probably starting to see it, as you can see. She doesn't really like her father very much these days. She's kind of sensing something. I mean, he doesn't really have any, like, you know, like affairs or anything, but there is potential. Like, there's Sandy Broody, who is single and also a romance sim, and he is of course a romance sim as well. And you know, like, there are opportunities for him to kind of like do something. The Sentowski brothers living on 16 Hospital Road. So similar yet so different. Orlando, as the older and responsible, has to take care of his younger and restless brother now that their parents are gone. They live in a very, very modest house. They are two teenagers living without parents, so this will be quite a challenging household, I feel. They have the same face template, so I made them brothers. So here on the ranch, we have the Bendet Letourneau family, 3 Ranch Road. Brandy and Marissa. Oh, Marissa double S? No, this is 1S Marissa. Oh my god, so many typos. 2 typos are too much. Too many. No, this can't happen. Brandy and Marissa have been best friends for a long time. They've always had a lot in common, but they never thought they would also share the same tragedy. After their husbands died in an accident, they decided to move in together and create a solid support system for their families. I will not be showing you the insides of the houses, even though in the previous video, like half of the houses weren't even furnished yet, because I just kind of want to leave out some things for you to see for yourself, you know? I am just putting it out there that this exists, and the only thing you need is maybe not the ultimate collection, because one of my viewers launched this neighborhood without kitchen and bath stuff, and some stuff might disappear if you don't have like a certain stuff pack or something, but definitely you need apartment life and mansion and garden for this to even appear in your menu. So Mac users, again, I know, I'm sorry. Living on a hill. Up on the hill we have the Uplifting Loft. I didn't even give it an address because this is the perfect name for this lot. A lot of the houses are just maxes. You probably saw that already. Yeah, Heidi is right here with the two guys. Benjamin likes nice things, but he's not sure he likes the rumors about his fiance's job not being exactly legal. Will Amin be able to step away from his morally doubtful career for the sake of their future marriage? Yeah, a reminder, Amin is a criminal mastermind. This just happened. He had this from the start, and I was like, yeah, okay, we can go with that. Benjamin is just a simple guy working in architecture, so yeah, like, maybe it would be nice for Amin to change his job. His lifetime want is to become media magnate, so that could be like a path that you could choose for him. And the Long Alley Apartments, there are 4 families here. The Lillard family. Brandon never liked his sister very much, but now that both their parents are gone, he needs to look after her. At least up until she's off to college. So in my, in the way I count years for The Sims, Tasha is 16 or 17, I can't really remember exactly, but like she is not at the age to support herself, right? So yeah, they are siblings, they have the same face template. My headcanon is that, well, they don't have any parents in the family tree, obviously, but they look very different from one another, and there isn't really much to explain why they are so different. Like in the Bendet Letourneau family, there are dead fathers of those children, actually, that I made to match the genetics. So that kind of explains why Sophie and Meadow, they are sisters, but they are very different from one another. But like if you resurrect their dad, you will see that it makes sense for both of them to look this way, because Sophie took Marissa's face template but her dad's colors, and Meadow took her dad's face template, yada yada yada. So it makes sense. And here we don't have any parents, so my headcanon is that they might be half siblings. So, and also there's a pretty big age difference between them, like probably like 14 years or something, because Brandon is around 30 years old. So they never really had a relationship, and now suddenly Brandon has to take care of his little half-sister, and he's just pissed, you know, because he's a romance sim and all he wants to do is just romance, and he has a kid in his house, like, why? Yeah, so like this is the story of this family. Hogan. So this is Andrea and Randy, again, same face template. Andrea was a wild young woman back in the day, up until she had to face some serious consequences. She's not sure who Randy's father is. All that she knows is that he is the best thing that could ever happen to her. Can't relate, but it is the case for a lot of people. Sims. The Sims family again, because Joe is Amin's brother. So I had to match their last names. In the previous video, he was still named Carr. Yeah, and then I realized that, yeah, maybe they should have the same name. So I renamed him, and I recommend making some kind of street in the name of the name Carr, because, you know, there's Bertino Street, there's Thayer Street, there's the Long Street, in memory of those lost last names. So it would be nice to also create the Carr Street somewhere if you need to put in some more houses or something, some more lots. Yeah, like that's just a suggestion. But there are many other lost names, like Brunig, Cormier, Miguel, like there are a lot of them, but Carr is like, Joe is a very representative townie, I guess, at least to me. So if I play, I mean, I am planning to play in this neighborhood, I will probably make the Carr street somewhere. After Marcia's mother took off and disappeared without a trace, Joe had to suppress all the grief from that loss and take care of his daughter. Even though she's already in school, he still hasn't figured out this parenting thing yet. They live in a very tiny apartment and they don't really have a lot of money, even though Joe's brother is a criminal mastermind that has plenty of cash. But despite being a fortune sim, he doesn't want to have anything to do with this money. So he just, he's kind of poor, but I believe that he will get by. And Sandy, of course. Sandy likes to date. A lot. She moved to this town for some new opportunities. Will this opportunity be goopy? Maybe. I don't know. You decide. Oh, and I fixed genetics of the Sims that didn't have matching visual genetics to their actual genetics. Like Brandy Letourneau's hair is really black. Actually, quite a few of those townies didn't have matching genetics, so I fixed that, and I also gave some of them recessive genes based on whatever genes their siblings have or parents or something, but still some of them are homozygous, so I recommend using the equal genetics mod in this town, or if not, just waiting to the next generation until the recessives pop up. So actually, Christy and Comey's baby can come out as blonde because Jan is blonde and she is his sister, so I figured it would be nice if she had red hair as recessive and he had blonde hair as recessive. Also, when it comes to genetics and Comey, he has a little bit of a darker skin than his daughter, but Jan actually has the lighter skin. So at first I was like, yeah, okay, I can just keep it this way, it's fine. But then I realized that Jan actually has the lighter skin, so it could have also been a recessive. Maybe I'll even add it as recessive for him before officially uploading the town. So since this whole town kind of revolves around this hospital here, there's even Hospital Road, I figured it would be nice to have some Sims working in the medical field. So I actually made Marissa and Brandy work. They both work in medicine. They are on different levels of that job, but they're both pretty high, like level 6, 7, something like that. So they definitely work in that hospital. And like the idea for this, for their friendship is that they really, really have a lot in common. So much that they even share the same tragedy. So much that it's even weird or like disturbing. So it makes sense for them to be in the same field, to work in the same place, and maybe have gone to the same college and major and everything, So that's also like my idea of this family. And I also wanted to say that there was early access of Townieville that I posted on Twitter, and around 200 people already have it in their games. And someone immediately started doing some kind of cottagecore lesbians thing in this family and trying to make Marissa and Brandy romantic with each other. I respect that. Like, it wouldn't really be cottagecore lesbians, more like bisexual women, but still, because they had husbands, but still, I was kind of laughing at this, that, oh yeah, it's so obvious that they should be together, but also that revealed a pretty big glitch that was in this family, that they were both still in love with their dead husbands, so whenever they did something romantic, it counted as cheating in their memories. So, like in vanilla game without any kind of mods that tweak jealousy. And also I discovered that they didn't have their first kiss memories, so they could do their first kiss with each other, being widowed and having 2 kids each. So I fixed that. So thank you to the person who wanted cottagecore, like ranchcore, lesbians, bisexual women, whatever. For doing this, because I wouldn't have discovered this glitch if it wasn't for that. So yeah. I will show you some community lots that I created after making that video, because, you know, like, this was half made when I was showing it in the video. So this is the lake beach that I mentioned that would be here. Nothing really that special, I guess, just some kind of hangout place. This will probably spawn an NPC. Yeah, just some towels and a bonfire and some juice and some lemonade and a toilet and hot tub, and that's it. And you can swim in the lake, and yeah, just a very nice recreation place. And also here we have the convenience store. I haven't really looked into that lot for a while. I might even need to fix some things in it. Are there lights? Oh my god, there are no lights, of course. Of course, I always do this. Or more like, don't do it, don't put the lights. Just some nice lights. Okay, so you can buy all kinds of stuff here, food, cologne, games, magazines, even snacks. So when it comes to community lots, we have the beach, we have a pool, we have a clothing store, park, bistro, like a tiny restaurant, an arcade, general store, and a pet store, and yeah, and a graveyard, of course, because there are 2 dead guys in this town. When it comes to townies, there are 2 townies that generated when I was moving Sims into the apartment building. So I am not, like, I don't remember anymore what they look like. I didn't really pay that much attention. There is the landlady also for the apartment building. That's more of an NPC, but still. There is also the guy that I created first to even spawn and add the townies to family. There's Nerissa B that is kind of supposed to be like the owner of the clothing store, because I thought that was funny, because this is like the Max's clothing store and Nerissa B is just a sim written in the description. She doesn't actually exist, I don't think. I mean, she exists here. And also on the way, I decided to add a few more townies, so there are 4 more adults, 2 teenagers, and 2 kids. I took them all from the sim bin in CAS and just gave them names, and that's pretty much it. So that still you would have this a little bit of a vanilla taste. I wasn't creating them exactly from scratch. This will still be kind of like familiar faces, so I think that's cool. So that's it. I hope that at this point this town is posted on Mod The Sims, finally at least one of my neighborhoods. I made 3 of them, but one of them is so Polish that it can't even be translated, so sorry for that. And the second one is of course Planet Alades. But if it's not on Mod The Sims, there will be a Mediafire download as well, both in the description. This is just a tiny thing, don't read too much into this. There is like one maybe tiny mystery that Melissa has, and that's pretty much it, but it's not really that big of a deal. Simmers do it all the freaking time. I am calling it finished, even if something is not there. Like, there will always be something. There will always be a light somewhere that is missing. There will always be a kitchen sink somewhere that is missing. Maybe not a kitchen sink, because I took care of that very well, I think. But like, you know, the lights in the convenience store, for example. This will happen, so I am not trying to make it perfect. If something is missing, just add it. Please. I just want to play and let you guys play. So of course the town is just filled with ready face templated sims. The Orlando Bertino Melissa Fancy template being the most used, and like 5 sims have this template, so it would be nice to maybe try and not let it invade the genetics in this town, because that might happen. There are 30 sims and 5 of them have this same freaking face, so just be careful with that. And yeah, that's it. As always, thank you very much for watching. Like the video, and see you in the next one. Bye.